You heard from Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, saying the U.S. is hearing reports that North Korea might be preparing for another missile test. Now, the Chi-Com's already said, you need to stop doing this because, like, we're giving you money under the table, we're giving you missiles, we're funding your government, we're trading oil, we're giving you what you need. Like, don't aggravate the U.S. because we need to keep dumping our steel there and dumping our aluminum so we can put their people out of work and we can corner the market. So, stop. Don't do any nuclear missiles. It's hurting our economic strategy, which is to put U.S. workers on the unemployment line by dumping steel and aluminum, which they dump in the U.S., and we're too stupid to put a tariff on it. Yes, too stupid. Stupid government. Too stupid. So they take over the steel industry, national security issue, jobs are gone. Same with aluminum. They're doing this. You know what else they're doing it with? Get this, fluorescent lighting. That's right, fluorescent light. First of all, electricity in China, let me explain this works. Electricity in China is cheaper because they burn filthy coal, right? There's no Paris Accord there. There's no environment thing. They burn filthy coal so they get cheap energy. So they take that cheap energy and they manufacture steel, aluminum, cars, whatever, undercut our prices. Then, to make it worse, the government subsidizes it with what? Cheap labor. So they're paying $1 an hour on a rice ball. The government's subsidizing it. So what they produce, cheap energy, cheap labor, slave labor, rice balls, subsidies from the Chi-Coms, and then they compete in the United States and dump the product in to corner the market, put our people out of work, and our politicians are too stupid to put a tariff on it. Stupid. Why? Oh, because the Heritage Foundation says we can't start a trade war. That's Republican Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan orthodoxy. You can't start a trade war. And we learned that when we were in undergraduate school, macroeconomics 102. Can't start a trade war. Free trade. Your iPhone will go down. Really? That's why the iPhone 10 is $1,000? Slumlord George says, I have a nephew in China and they wear masks every other day. Sure, because you can't breathe the air. They got the cheap energy, though, and the cheap labor, but you can't breathe the air, and we're worried about the Paris Accords. They burn coal like it's going out of style. There's no filter. They just burn it, throw it in the air. Comes over to the U.S., too bad. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. This is what Trump ought to be talking about. I mean, if I have one criticism, he should be spending a lot more time on explaining trade. Like, get on TV and just say what I just said. You know, here's what China is doing to us. And we sit there, we're too stupid to do anything. It's unbelievable. Slumlord George, dilly. Hey, George, I just gave you a winner. Not only do I give you information, analysis, explain the tax code, but I give you football winners. I'm telling you, George. Let's go to cut 4, Mike. Here's Kellyanne Conway. She says that President Trump has made very clear that there is no deal on DACA unless the wall is built. But, see, here's what goes on there. This is why you love coming up here. So Kellyanne is a loyal and she is a believer. Okay, she actually, like me, believes in this stuff. Now, she did it at the beginning. She was on the cruise bot thing. But I get it. But when she came over, you know, she got it. Like, she got the whole thing. Kellyanne got it. That's why I'm a big supporter of Kellyanne. She got it. And people that weren't there, and then they are there, and they get it, those can be your most loyal supporters. So she gets it. So she's going to say right now, you're going to hear this clip, where she's saying there's no deal on DACA, but yet other weasels in the White House leak out a deal on DACA. Why do they leak it out? Because there is no deal. Because they're leaking it out because that's what they want to see. Because they're part of the open borders crowd. General McMaster of Disguise, Kirsten Nielsen, Kelly, open borders. All of them. Mark Short, the whole bunch of them. I'm telling you. Kellyanne, though, says there's going to be no deal. Now, for her to come on TV and say that, I have to think that she talked to the president. Otherwise, she's not going to put herself in this position. Let's go to Kellyanne Conway, no deal on DACA.
But now you need 60 votes to get that spending done by January 19th and to get anything done. So now it's unmistakable there has to be cooperation.
And we certainly hope so. We know that many of those Democrats who are up for re-election this year in states that President Trump carried, and 5 of them carried by significant double digits, we would think they'll be able to look at their constituents and say, when I had an opportunity to keep the government open, to have some reasonable budget caps, and to make sure at the same time that we have our military defense needs spent for, that we are accommodating those, that I went ahead and did that. I didn't allow petty partisan politics to get in the way, because we saw that in 2017. I thought 2017 was a disappointment when it came to bipartisan action. A lot of bipartisan talk, and a president who always had that olive branch extended, had them at the White House, had them on the phone, went up to Capitol Hill, and certainly listened to their concerns. He's made very clear that there is no deal on DACA unless the wall is built, unless there is funding for the wall. He's made this very clear that this president is so accessible and so transparent on these policy prescriptions. He tweets about them almost daily, if not daily, including over the Christmas break. And so everybody knows where he stands on this. We hope they can come together for the good of the country. He's ready.
I love this woman. I really do. I love this woman in the White House. That's the biggest asset the president has, because, as I said, she was not there at the beginning with us that were there, like myself, Curtis Ellis, and others. And I consider myself a true believer in Trumponomics and the Trump agenda. I believe in the policies, and I believe in Trump, right? Because I've seen his consistency on some of the issues that matter to me the most over a very long period of time. So she was not there at the beginning. She was with Cruz. She was a Cruz bot, and then she ran the Cruz pack. But when she came over to the Trump campaign, which was before Cruz collapsed, right? Well, kind of before. She was there at the convention in Cleveland. She was part of the team. But she came over when Cruz was about out, when he was trying to, I guess, unbound delegates or something. And then she had the chance to become the campaign manager, take the campaign over and work on a daily basis with the president, then the candidate every day, and embrace the issues and the policies. She transformed into a true advocate and believer of this president and the policies that he's pursuing. And sometimes those people who go from one end to the other end based on personal experience and seeing it for themselves, sometimes they can become the most effective spokespeople and advocates that you have. And I think that's the Kellyanne Conway story here. And she's very articulate. She's very poised. She has a good relationship with the president. They talk freely, and she's able to articulate his position. She's also stayed out of a lot of the nonsense that's gone on in the West Wing. You notice she's never in the conspiracy theory. She's never in the trying to oust somebody. She's never the subject of leaks. So she's very effective. And her being a counselor there is a very important asset to this administration. So when she comes on TV yesterday and she says there's no deal on DACA, when the other weasels in there, like I'm not going to name names, okay, but there's other weasels in the White House that are leaking that there is a deal, because that's their world. Because they don't believe in anything. Don't you get it? Like, they don't believe in the president's agenda. They're just George Bush RNC operatives that they go from one job to the next. So they're leaking it out because they love to make a deal. There's no deal. You can't make a deal and go against something you campaigned on for 2 years. You can't do it for nothing. Now, if you get something huge, then you can justify it to your base. But if you just get nothing but like, well, let's keep the government open. Screw that. It's no deal. That's like not putting tariffs on China. Stupid. Why would you do stupid stuff? I thought Trump campaigned against government being stupid and stupid politicians. So that's basically the bottom line here. There's going to be no deal on DACA unless you get something. And the only thing you can get in return for this is funding for a real wall. That is the only possible thing. Now, the president already went back on not putting any more troops in Afghanistan. We put another 5,000 in. Now we've got like 85,000 there, right? So he went back on his word on that. Fine. Everybody said, okay, we give you a pass. We get it. Didn't have the intel. We get it. But this is not intel. This is policy. Don't sell out your base on this, or there's going to be trouble ahead. You want the truth? You're in the right place. You want fake news? Hit buttons, you'll find it.